Welcome to Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome back to the Transatlantic Cup. We continue to be with the Ginetta G40. This is round 2. You can see we are again in the UK at the Donington Park circuit, the national track layout, so the shorter layout with that final chicane before the start finish line. This is race 1 of round 2, so we basically are in the third race of the season. Slightly late coverage of this race, nevertheless it should be awesome racing just like we had in round 1 in Brands Hatch. Let's go to the starting grid, and beautiful to see 14 drivers. It is great to have almost a full lobby. Darren Head on pole position, followed by Simon Allen. Diogo Silva and Rob Oldham are on the second row. Third row is Kev Allen and Jumbo. Fourth row, Scott Davely and John Scott. Again, these two drivers together as usual. Fifth row, Jorge Jesus. He's going to want to come back to the front from there, followed by Peter Adrian. 11th is Diogo Almeida, followed by Gonçalo Mota. We have an all-Portuguese 6th row. And finally, we have in the last row, 7th row, Todd Antonio and David Emge. What a race we should have here, and we are going to unusually look at the start from exactly the middle of the field. So that is John Scott. Or let's maybe do it with Scott Davely as we are about to go green here at Donington Park National, and away they go. Nice start there by Scott Davey. Nice start also by Diogo Silva, or is it? No, Darren Henry retains the lead. Diogo Silva to the middle of the track, trying to get on the inside of Simon Allen. Kev Allen trying to get on the inside of Rob Oldham. They turn into turn 1. That's right gate corner. Nicely done there by Jumbo, I believe. No, yes, it was Jumbo. And look at that. Look at the battle there at the front. That is Simon Allen and Diogo Silva, but Simon Allen retains second place. Let's go trackside with the leader of this race. That's Darren Head, followed by Simon Allen, followed by Diogo Silva, and something happened. Something happened to who? Well, John Scott certainly has had a poor start, and I wonder what went wrong with John, because he wasn't in 12th place. So let's get back at the start, see if we can see any action from John Scott. It seems to me it was just a poor start, was it? Let's see if we can get any action. A bit of pushing and shoving there between, I believe, Peter Adrian and Diogo Almeida. But no harm, no foul. Let's have a look to see if we missed any action. Well, it was just a poor start by John Scott. Everyone behaved very nicely. Oh no, there's a spin there. Oh, there's a big crash there. Big crash. And it was Rob Oldham is in the middle of it. Rob Oldham again. Very unlucky here. We are going to have a replay of this. Peter Adrian hit him. And Jumbo was trying to go on the inside. What on that happened? Oh, and Jumbo just clipped Rob Oldham. Oh, and Peter Adrian nowhere to go. He ends up hitting both drivers, but really, I believe Jumbo, that was slightly, oh, and he's on his roof. And we'll get a replay of this from Jumbo's perspective on the onboard, or maybe even from the chase camera. And it seems to me that Jumbo also got hit by someone after hitting. It was, well, there was a gap there. Jumbo certainly was coming with more momentum. Always tricky to get on the inside here at the old hairpin, because the outside line is quicker. And oh, and then there you go. That's what happened to Jumbo, and big crash. He's now in 13th spot. Reset button. And now he finally comes back to the track. Darren Head continues to lead this race. Let's see. Well, let's first have a look to see if we can get any good cameras. Look at Simon Allen there. We have a long race here, 16 laps, not the longest lap. And look at this, Darren Head already going defensive. Diogo Silva also going defensive, because Kev Allen is coming and trying to put pressure, as the top 4 are really nose to tail. That number 50 of Darren Head is going to lead the opening lap here at Donington Park. in race one. But look at the top four. They almost look like a single car. Diogo Silva tried to go on the inside of Simon Allen. Kev Allen is flashing his headlights, but look at that. This is the close racing that we wanted. We have it. Oh, and Darren Head makes a small mistake there in the red gate corner. We'll keep an eye for other battles and drivers recovering. Jumbo and Rob Oldham, John Scott as well. Peter Adrian lost a bit of time. He's down in 11th. And look at Scott Davely up into 5th place. Look at the other Portuguese, Diogo Almeida, up into 6th place. That was a good, definitely a good, let's have a look at this second group, as Scott Davely is really under pressure from two Portuguese drivers. That's Diogo Almeida and Jorge Jesus. And it's going to be tricky to get a view of all the action. Peter Adrian there at the back seems to be going ahead of David Emge. Yeah, we caught the last bit of that as Peter is on the outside. Let's go back to the race leaders as they are now braking for the final chicane, and they are already completing the second lap, and Darren Head is still the leader, followed by, oh, look at Kev Allen. Kev Allen is putting pressure on Diogo Silva. Look at this, just Scott Davely in 5th place is also under pressure from Diogo Almeida as they turn again into red gate corner. Oh, and look at this, everyone running a bit wide there, and Simon Allen really tried to go after Darren Head, and the top four remained the same, but it seems to me that Scott Davely has lost a position, so we'll get a replay of that move, because Scott was in 5th place, and this is how it happened, as Diogo Almeida is on the inside of red gate and he goes through, but and Scott comes back at him right after, and George is, Scott Davely, oh no, Scott Davely and Diogo Almeida get together. Gonçalo Mota up into 6th place. Look at those destroyed Ginettas. Peter Adrian, followed by Todd Antonio, 8th and 9th. And Scott Davely is trying to recover. But let's have a look at the. Let's have a quick look at the. Well, at what happened there, because I think that Scott was coming back at Diogo Almeida. Look at this, his first corner there. Diogo is on the inside, Scott immediately goes through, and they just connect, I think. Oh, and Diogo was spinning. And really, I think Diogo just lost control of his Ginetta. Look at this, Scott Davely now trying to get back to the track, and there's a piece. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's go back to the race leader, but let's keep an eye on the leaderboard as well. So now it's 5th place for Jorge Jesus, up to 6th is Gonçalo Mota, up to 7th is Peter Adrian. Nicely done after that incident in the 3rd corner with Jumbo, and also involving Rob Oldham. Peter Adrian up into 7th, Scott Davely in 8th, 9th is Todd Antonio, and 10th John Scott. Now Jumbo has not recovered a lot of time, as he's still sitting 14th. Rob Oldham is up into 12th, and Diogo Almeida, after this incident, he is in 11th place, as we have now the 3rd lap is about to be complete, and the top four remain the same. Darren Head, Simon Allen, Diogo Silva, Kev Allen. Now that lonely car at the back there is Jorge Jesus. And look at this, let's see, let's watch out for any action between the top four that are really nose to tail again. But still early stage in this race, so people not necessarily committing to making moves. But Simon Allen is about to change that, as this could be a move for the lead here. And look at that, look at Diogo Silva also trying to see where he fits into this equation. And Simon Allen, they're trying the outside, and that didn't really work. What a battle we have here for the top four. Simon Allen is really on the tail of Darren Head, left four out. Oh, look at this, they almost look like it's just one car. Now, braking for the chicane. Diogo Silva trying to do the defensive line as Kev Allen is coming on his outside. Now taking back the racing line, and it's going to be another lap. And Simon Allen certainly is going to make a move here, I'm sure. Into red gate, Kev Allen is on the inside of Diogo Silva. Now look at that, it's a side, they're running 2 by 2 here. In the end of the 4th lap, Simon Allen on the outside doesn't really work. No, it does not really work, but look at Kev Allen also didn't work. As wow, this is amazing stuff. And we'll look, keep an eye on other battles as well, as seems to me there is a big one there between Peter. Oh, that head, look at it. Oh, drifting there through the old hairpin. What a boss is there. And now side by side again. This is absolutely brilliant. Darren Head was drifting there through the old hairpin. Now Simon Allen's on the outside with that number 11, the green car. But Darren Head somehow keeps himself in the lead of this race. This is absolutely brilliant. Now let's let's watch more battles, but let's definitely see what's happening here with these 4. And well, let's do a quick run through the rest of the field. This is Peter Adrian, followed by Scott Davely. There's a big battle there between also Diogo Almeida and in 9th and John Scott. 11th is Todd Antonio. Todd has lost a couple of positions. Then is Rob Oldham. Then is Jumbo, and finally it's David Emge. But oh, and Simon Allen has gotten the lead now. Simon Allen is in the lead of the race. We haven't seen, look at that, absolutely. Look at this, through the chicane. We'll get a replay of the end of this lap, because these 4 are running side by side again. Look at this, they're on the inside. And then look at this, they're running 2 by 2. This looks like a formation lap. But they are going at 100+ miles an hour with this Ginetta. Now Simon Allen has got the lead, and he's on the outside, and he's done it. He's done it, or did he? No, he's not done it. Darren Head is still the leader. Again, this looks like the formation lap before they go into single file finally. As now Simon Allen is at the old hairpin. Is he going to make a move? No, he is not. And now here comes Diogo Silva, who is trying to pick up the pieces of that battle for the lead and go into 2nd place. Now here comes Kev Allen on the inside. Absolutely brilliant racing. Let's have a quick look at the other. Jorge Jesus in 5th, then is Gonçalo Mota. Scott Davely is up into 7th place. We'll try to see a replay of that move on Peter Adrian if we can. And use this short overlap as a way to check out what's going on with the rest of the field. Oh, it seems that Peter didn't, well, Peter made a small mistake, was it? At the exit of the chicane. And here comes Scott Davely, and that was an easy pass. Peter down into 8th place. 9th is Diogo Almeida. And John Scott is very close to him. We'll keep an eye on that battle. 11th is Todd Antonio, and look at that at the back there, it's Rob Oldham and Jumbo. Of course, these two have got together on the 1st lap, and David Emge is running on 14th. Let's keep an eye again on this battle. Well, we've seen this bit, so we'll go again in reverse order. David Emge 29 seconds away from the leader. Jumbo is in 13th. Rob Oldham is in 12th. This is Todd Antonio in 11th, and Todd is getting caught by Rob and Jumbo as well. So we have a nice battle brewing up here for 11th spot. Look at this. Look at this. There's a battle for 12th spot there. Battles through the field, as we always see in Old Folks Racing PlayStation. Let's go back to the race leaders, as now it's the completion of another lap, completion of lap 6 out of 16, and here comes Kev Allen on the outside now. Kev Allen, is he going to make yes, I think he's got him. I think that Kev Allen has got into 3rd place. Yes, he has. Diogo Silva down into 4th spot. And Darren Head all of a sudden has a few car lengths of a gap. The biggest gap we've seen, 7/10 of a second in this race. But now these 3 guys have to sort of work together to get back into the lead battle, as Darren Head will use this surely to try to get away from this pack. We'll keep an eye on other battles there. John Scott and Diogo Almeida battling for 9th place, but let's stay with the leading group for a while, especially here at the end of the lap as they go through the back stretch and into the chicane and into the start-finish line. Oh, here comes Diogo Silva again. Diogo Silva is again, and Cavallon is trying to defend. Cavallon is trying to defend from the Portuguese driver, and who is going to be the last of the late breakers? Diogo Silva is going to go through that number 29 back into 3rd place, but immediately Cavallon comes back at him, and now Diogo is on the inside for turn 1. Look at Simon Allen. Look at Simon Allen. Simon Allen has recovered a lot of ground there, and the Darnhead trying to go defensive. Almost going outside the pit lane to get a better line for turn 1. And here comes now Simon Allen. Simon Allen all of a sudden is back into contention for the lead of this race. Now Darnhead. And look at how much they've gained on Diogo Silva and Cavallon as they were almost tangling there in the red gate corner and in the chicane. But these two seems to me that they are going to start losing time. We'll keep an eye for other battles. Jumbo went ahead of Rob Oldham for 11th place. Simon Allen continues to put pressure on race leader Darren Head. I believe that Darren has led every lap. I'm not sure if there was one of the laps that Simon was ahead by the start-finish line, but then he lost the lead into turn 1. Now they are completing another lap. Very short laps here, 1:16.284 for the leader, and Simon Allen 1:15.999. That was the fastest time in the previous lap. Can Simon Allen put pressure now at the end of lap 8? This is going to be the midpoint of this race. Look at Simon, absolutely brilliant exit there. Absolutely brilliant exit, and now there again, nose to tail, and Darren has led that lap. I believe at the start-finish line he was ahead. Now into turn 1. And Simon is again trying the outside, and it seems to me that he's going to get him this time, or does he? Simon Allen, oh, he just runs wide by the narrowest of margins, but they are still side by side. They're still side by side through here, through the descent to the old hairpin, and Darren is giving him space, but of course they are going slower, and here comes Diogo Silva and Cavallon, and Darren Head is still ahead of Simon Allen. What an absolutely brilliant piece of racing these 4 drivers are doing. They are battling so hard with this Ginetta GT5, but still giving space to one another. And did Simon Allen make a mistake there? No. He did not, but he lost a couple of car lengths, and now Diogo Silva is coming. Let's keep an eye on other battles through the field. There's a big one there between Gonçalo Mota and the recovering Scott Davis. We'll keep an eye on that battle as well. Scott, of course, delayed after that incident with Diogo Almeida. And look at that, that's Gonçalo Mota, that's Scott Davis. And behind them, we've got Peter Adrian that is getting caught by Diogo Almeida and John Scott. So we have a nice battle here in the midfield as well. Let's look for the 4 leaders, and now Darren Head seems to be sort of in control, as Diogo Silva now is trying. Well, this is the second half of the race, so drivers are running a little bit out of time to make moves. Lap 10 already, so there's going to be 6 laps to go at the line, and Darren Head so far has protected that lead. That Ginetta is absolutely a wide car, not the widest of circuits, this one here at Donington Park, as Simon Allen is now under severe pressure from Diogo Silva. Look at that, Diogo Silva, the Portuguese driver, is trying to get into 2nd place, and Simon Allen is now losing a little bit of steam. Let's keep an eye for other battles through the field. Gonçalo Mota still in 6th place ahead of Scott Davis, and now the gap is 6/10 of a second, 4/10 of a second. We'll keep an eye on that battle, but look at that, absolutely. Oh, and Simon has made a mistake there. Simon has made a mistake, but has pressed on regardless. And here comes Diogo Silva. Cavallon is a bit delayed, a few car lengths. Diogo Silva now on the inside of red gate corner, but didn't really work. It's a tricky overtaking spot. You do have to be side by side already. Simon Allen runs wide. Simon Allen runs wide. Simon Allen runs wide and loses 2nd place. That was an easy pass in the end for Diogo Silva. Now the Allens are together and battling now for the last podium position. Cavallon is coming for third place as Simon lost quite a lot of momentum. Let's keep an eye on other battles, and something has happened there because Gonçalo Mota was not in fifth place. It was Jorge Jesus. Jorge Jesus has had a problem, and we will rewind to figure out what happened to Jorge as he dropped from 5th to 9th. It might take a while to find out, but and he's been in the grass there. So I'm not entirely sure why this camera is not working. Let's go to the onboard. And it seems to me it's just, oh yes, I can see a spin coming. What? Well, oh, and then he spun. That was what... So Jorge Jesus delayed there. Up to 5th goes Gonçalo Mota. Up to 6th goes Scott Davely. And Scott, after that earlier incident, is almost back into a top 5 position. And he is going after Gonçalo Mota now at the end of lap 10. Peter Adrian is actually not that far behind these two drivers. Ooh, a little bit too quick there through the chicane maybe. And Diogo Almeida is not that far behind either. John Scott is certainly on Diogo's tail as well. And Jorge Jesus is trying to come back. 11th is Jumbo. 12th is Rob Oldham. Never really recovered from that opening lap incident. 13th is Todd Antonio. And 14th is... David Emge, and the two American drivers are battling for 13th place. We'll keep an eye on that battle as well. Let's see now the battle for the lead of the race. Well, let's see perhaps the battle between the Allens as well. Now the top 4 have found a little bit of breathing space. Darren Head has opened a gap which just looks like a massive gap compared to how close it has been of 0.8 of a second. But Darren Head is going to be completing lap 11, so 5 laps to go at the line. So, ooh, and a little bit running wide there. He needs to be careful. Running wide in this car is often very tricky. Look at that, the Allens are at it. The Allens are at it. And Kev is in 3rd place because what happened to Simon Allen? Simon Allen has had an error as well again here at the chicane. Simon Allen has had an error at the chicane and a slow exit, and he has lost 3rd place. Kev Owen is up into 3rd. Look at the battle there. We'll keep an eye on that battle there at the back, but it's absolutely brilliant. Darren Head still leads this race, and ooh, oh, and Darren Head is spinning. Oh, Darren Head! Darren Head has spun. Darren Head has spun. He's in the gravel as well. He comes back to the track, but he lost 6 seconds with this spin, and with 4 laps to go, that could be it for Darren in terms of challenging for the victory. Diogo Silva is the new leader, followed by Kev Allen, followed by Simon Allen, followed by Darren, and Gonçalo Mota is cracking on in 5th place. But look at this battle. We'll rewind a little bit to see if there was any action in between the chicane and well, at the start-finish line, because they're absolutely nose to tail. That's Gonçalo Mota, Scott Davely, Diogo Almeida, and John Scott. And Peter Adrian is there at the back in 9th place. 10th is Jumbo, and Jorge Jesus is not moving in the right direction because Jumbo is up into a top 10 position. Jorge Jesus definitely not going in the right direction in this race. He was in 5th place, and he has lost now more time. As we'll keep an eye now a little bit more on this battle, because it seems to me that everyone is just getting a little bit anxious. Not a lot of laps left here, and everyone is just trying now to just make moves, because they know that before you know it, the checkered flag is going to be in the air, and that move that you've been planning for laps and laps and laps, you just don't have the time to do it. So now is the time to make moves, as the race leader is about to complete lap 12. So there'll be 4 laps to go at the line, and these 4 drivers are now closer than ever. And I suspect something is going to happen here. Gonçalo Mota is getting the defensive line. Scott Davely trying to get a better exit, but he has to think, he has to look in his mirrors, because Diogo Almeida is there, and so is John Scott. And Diogo Almeida is the first to get out of line, trying to get on the outside. Didn't really work. Now switching to the inside. as they break into red gate corner. We keep an eye on the battle there at the front as Diogo Silva has 2.2 seconds and they run wide. Everyone runs wide. Oh, there's a contact between Gonçalo Mota and Diogo Almeida. What on earth happened there? But Scott Davely has had to back off. I know. What happened there? Did they connect? Diogo Almeida is up into 6th place. Scott Davely down to 7th because he ran wide at the red gate corner. So did Gonçalo Mota, but Gonçalo incredibly has retained the position. In fact, he has opened the gap over Diogo Almeida. Scott Davely down to 7th, and John Scott wants a piece of this action as well. Well, what on earth happened there? Because, well, we missed some action, so we will also follow this group because, well, this group has history, as it were, and that's Jorge Jesus in 10th place, Jumbo in 10th place, Jorge Jesus and Rob Oldham. They all had troubles, but they're almost running 3 wide into the first corner on lap 13. And let's watch them through their defensive line by Jorge now in 10th place, Jumbo down to 11th. But I have seen that something has happened to this group because well. Oh, and look at Rob Oldham. Thank you very much. I'm on the fast lane, dudes. See you later, alligator in a wild crocodile. And what a move by Rob Oldham. Thank God we have done the rewind here. Rob Oldham up into 10th place. Jorge Jesus. Oh, but Jorge is coming back at him. Well, if close racing is what the PlayStation guys wanted with this Transatlantic Cup, everyone is getting a lot of it. Oh, and something has happened to Scott Davely. Something has happened to Scott Davely. Scott Davely is going slowly. He has been overtaken by Peter Adrian. And, ooh, and it was a coming together there. Let's go with the chase camera, because that's probably going to show more of what happened to Scott. Oh, that is Diogo Almeida. Oh. And before we make up our mind on this, we're going to have a look at the replay again. Diogo Almeida on the curb, then he's on the outside again in the grass and comes back. Ooh, comes back to the racing line perhaps a little bit too quickly. And Scott didn't have many options there. And Peter Adrian is up into 8th place now, and the question is Jorge Jesus? And yes, is yes, and I suspect it's a bit of a train now here with Rob Oldham up into 10th, Jorge Jesus in 9th. End of the race, as you expect, getting a little bit crazy. We've got another group of 4 drivers here. Look at the gap at the front, lap 14 out of 16. And there was a battle with Gonçalo Mota at one point, but Gonçalo is now comfortably in 5th place. 6th is John Scott. 7th is Diogo Almeida. He has lost 6th position, and yes, that was because of that coming together with Scott following that off-track excursion. 8th is Peter Adrian, but look at this group now. This is the wild group now here with Jorge Jesus actually opening a gap, and Scott Davely is up into 10th place. Scott Davely is up into 10th place, and this is how it happened. And Scott, nicely done there. Whoa. Did Rob Oldham just run wide? Yes, he has. And Scott Davely on the outside there has an easy pass, and 12th is Jumbo, and the 2 American drivers continue to battle there as Todd Antonio is in 13th and 14th is David Emge. We are on lap, and there's the race leader Diogo Silva now 1.7 seconds. Let's go back and take you through the field as they are in the penultimate lap. 1.6 seconds. It seems to me that Cavalli is still trying to close this gap. but not easy to make up this gap. And look at that, that's Simon Allen in third place. Darren Head has not recovered any ground whatsoever. These drivers are more or less clocking the same times. In fact, Darren was a second slower than the fastest of them, and that was Simon Allen in the previous lap. Fifth is Gonçalo Mota. That's going to be a top 5 position. But look at this, John Scott, the winner of the opening race in this Transatlantic Cup, wants business, and he wants a top 5 position, and he's going for it. Or is he? Looked like he was trying something on the inside there, but that number 55, the blue car, it has defended. We'll keep an eye on that battle. 7th is Diogo Almeida. Look at that, there seems to be something happening at the background, and that is Scott Davely trying to go for Jorge Jesus. And Scott with a lot of pace in these last few laps. Of course, Scott with his consistency probably has saved a bit more tires. Oh, look at this. What on earth happened to Diogo Silva? He's just half a second in front of let's go back to some proper camera, shall we? And here comes Kev Allen. This is the last lap of the race, and there is a driver to be lapped there, and that is David, no, not David Emge, that's Todd Antonio. So they've lapped David Emge, and Kev Allen all of a sudden has a shot at the win. Just a few more corners to go in this race, and look at this. This is going to be interesting because Todd, let's see what Todd does. Is he going to get out of this battle or not? And I think he is going to just let everyone through. Yes, he is now. Just one more corner to go. Look at this. The top 3 are together. Look at this. Whoa! Diogo Silva. Oh, look at Simon Allen. Simon Allen on the inside in the last corner. Checkered flag is in the air. Simon Allen is up into second place. What a move that was. And Diogo Silva wins it, followed by the Allens. 4th is going to be Darren Head. 5th is going to be Gonçalo Mota. Can he retain the position? Gonçalo Mota and John Scott. One more corner to go in this race, and it is going to be, under normal circumstances, Gonçalo Mota in 5th place, followed by John Scott. Peter Adrian is going to be in the 8th spot, followed by... Oh, what was that? Oh, Peter Adrian lost it in the last corner. No, he did not. Sorry. That was Diogo Almeida. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the liveries. Peter Adrian is in 8th place. He did have a bit of a moment, but still retains 8th place. 9th is going to be Jorge Jesus. 10th is going to be Scott Davely. And look at this photo finish there for 11 between the two drivers that have tangled in the first lap. And what a race this was. That's the end of race 1. We are not going to watch it again. We are going to say bye-bye and see you very soon in race 2.